Alrighty, it is Tuesday, January 27th, 2026. I am Peaches. I hope you're doing well. If you want to get a hold of me, you can over at 208-535-1015. I saw this question pop up. You can travel back to any time or place, but you can never return to the present. Where are you going and why? I'm trying to think here if time would just go on from there, like whatever year you choose, you just live until, you're old and then you pass away type of thing, or maybe who knows what will happen to you during the time period that you chose. So this had me thinking, what was the best, what would be the ideal year where things were the most peaceful, the things were the cheapest, people got along, all of that. I asked ChatGPT that question. And it gave me the best all-around answer is to go back to 1995 through 1999 in the U.S. or Western Europe. It says why this era slapped so hard, no major wars for most people in daily life. Violent crime was dropping fast. Middle-class life was actually affordable. The internet existed, but it hadn't melted brains yet. News cycles were slower, less rage-optimized. People disagreed politically, but still went to barbecues together. I mean, it's utterly ridiculous how fast people online are just willing to yell at you, insult you. I posted this little clip of my reaction to Megadeth covering Ride the Lightning. And I was teasing about Dave's singing voice. It's never been all that great. It's actually quite funny. I like to make fun of it here and there. I posted that, and this one guy was like, he's 64 and he's been through throat cancer. And he gave me the explicit version of screw off. So I had to delete that comment. But it's like, dude, it's just me teasing about it. I know what he's been through. I've talked to him in the past. I talked to him for 10 minutes, that whole thing. He's a super nice guy. Not just me, but many people think his singing voice is funny. But this guy was outraged for Dave himself. And it's always people that are offended for others. And it's never the person being made fun of that's actually sincerely offended. It's always that one loudmouth in the comments going off for no reason. It's utterly ridiculous. 1995 through 1999, the best all-around time period to live in. The median home cost $145,000. Imagine that. Anyway, Peach's Pit Party will return here in just a few on K-Bear 101. Mudvayne right there, of course, with their classic dig. It was awesome to see Mudvayne live in Pocatello last year. Got the chance to sit down with Chad Gray. That's up on our YouTube channel, K-Bear 101 RMG. He's a very sincere guy. He's very what's it called? He's very into mental health and all of that. But Chad Gray, he's doing this thing called 30 Years of Madness in Las Vegas, playing songs from Mudvayne and Hell Yeah. For one night and one night only, Friday, August 24th, at the Backstage Bar and Billiards in Las Vegas on Fremont Street. I thought that was pretty cool. Seems like it would be quite a lot of work for Chad. And then I was thinking about these shows that have been popping up from bands like Black Label Society. I believe they're going on tour with Zach Sabbath. And that had me thinking, isn't that Zach Wild doing double duty? Wouldn't that be tiring every single night? You're playing in two bands, two full sets even. And then I also saw recently this pop up that Les Claypool, it's called Claypool Gold. It's going to be at the complex in Salt Lake on their lawn. I need to pull up the concert calendar because this was wild to see. It's Les Claypool. Hold on, I need to find it. Les Claypool Gold 2026. It's Primus with Claypool's Frog Brigade and the Claypool Lennon Delirium in the lot at the complex, an outdoor show, May 26. That's a whole lot of playing for one of the best bassists, if not the best bassist of all time, Les Claypool. That's on our concert calendar at riverbendmediagroup.com/calendar, or you can find the shortcut to the concert calendar via the K-Bear 101 app. Recently, on my vacation to and from California, of course, you have to go through TSA, and you have to go through this cylindrical machine where you stand in it sideways, you put your hands up, and it scans you for anything. Well, I guess I'm at that point where I'm not too tall. I'm just the right height, or maybe I'm a little bit taller. I really don't know. I feel like I'm on the teetering point of the entire thing, because when I was at the Idaho Falls Regional Airport, by the way, they have the best TSA agents I have ever experienced. They're super nice. They're friendly. They want to get you on your flight. You go to any airport in Southern California, it's like boot camp. They want you to, they yell at you, put all your stuff in the box, get through it. Idaho Falls at least goes through it with you, and they're super friendly, and they were making the joke that I was a little bit too tall for the machine, and I guess I almost needed additional screening because of it, which would have sucked. But yeah, that cylindrical machine, make it maybe a little bit bigger for us bigger people. The TSA, they've released a video showing the 10 most unusual items seized at airports in the country in 2025, and it raises some curious questions like, did someone really think they'd get through security? They get by security wearing a bra stuffed with turtles. You know, most of the items on the list are weapons, which were cleverly or not very cleverly hidden. There were drugs stuffed into shoes, a knife hidden in a traveler's knee brace, bullets inside a bottle of strawberry Nesquik, pretty crazy, turtles inside pants, and a fake pipe bomb. The TSA says the list is a reminder that officers see just about everything and they take every suspicious item seriously. I can tell you firsthand they do. Every single time I try bringing my sister home a snow globe, they carefully inspect it. I'm like, my sister just collects these. I'm not trying to smuggle drugs in Southern California. Trust me, they already have enough of that. You ever screwed something up so badly you wanted to pretend it never happened? Well, somebody just opened a museum for that. There's a brand new place in Vancouver called the Museum of Personal Failure. And instead of dinosaur bones or fancy paintings like you get at those boring museums, it's full of real people's biggest misfires. Job rejection letters, breakup photos, even a wedding dress from a marriage that didn't work out, donated by the creator's own mom. The guy behind it, Evan Collins, says the idea came after a breakup wrecked him. Instead of spiraling, he put up posters that simply said, "Failures wanted," and people showed up big time. One wall is literally called the Wall of Reject, firing notices, job applications that went nowhere, dreams that didn't pan out. There's even a section of failed songs from a local producer. Every single item comes with a note explaining what happened and why it mattered. And here's the twist. It's not depressing. It's kind of freeing in a way, because when you see how many people missed the mark before finding their footing, you realize, failure isn't the end. It's just proof that you tried, really. The Museum of Personal Failures open inside the Kingsgate Mall right now through February 3rd. I wish it was more so open the entire year. It'd give me a reason to visit Vancouver, If you've ever bombed an interview, picked the wrong relationship, or chased something that didn't pan out, congratulations, I guess. You're officially museum worthy. It's Peach's Pit Party right here now with Ice Nine Kills, the laugh track. It seems that the brief cameo 44-year-old Phillip Rivers enjoyed as the quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts at the end of the season was enough. He interviewed for the Buffalo Bills head coaching vacancy on Friday, and then yesterday he decided to pull out of the running for the gig. He's not currently interested in coaching an NFL team. Instead, Rivers is expected to go back to coaching his son at St. Michael Catholic High School in Fairhope, Alabama. The New England Patriots and Seattle Seahawks match up in Super Bowl 60 is not only a rematch of Super Bowl 49 from 2015, it's the most unlikely game when going by the odds. It's the first featuring two teams that enter the season with 60-1 odds, or 60-1 or worse odds to win it all. That's their combined 4,800-1 odds for this matchup tops the 4,500-1 odds for the Rams-Titans Super Bowl in 2000. The Indianapolis 500 will go to the Dogs once again. The Hot Dogs, that is. The Weenie 500 will be staged on the Indianapolis Motor Speedway on May 22nd to kick off the racing weekend. It will pit Oscar Mayer's 6 Wienermobiles in a race around the famed track that will be aired live on Fox. Last year's event included the Oscar Mayer Wiener theme song, sung in place of the national anthem, and fans were asked to place their hands over their stomachs instead of their hearts. That does it for your Shot Clock Sports Update right here on K-Bear 101. I'm going to sound like a boomer right now, but whatever happened to physical tickets? Why can't we just get those anymore? Forget the trees, forget the environmental factor. I do miss overall physical tickets, and it would make concert ticket giveaways just that much easier. I mean, they could potentially get lost in the mail being shipped from wherever they're coming from, but at the same time, if we were to do a concert ticket giveaway, we get approved for 20 tickets to give away. Like for Ghost, for example, all of a sudden we get those at our front desk. I then have every winner pick them up here at the studio. That way there's no need for Ticketmaster signups or SeatGeek signups, whatever it may be. I finally got access to those tickets for our winners who got tickets to go see Ghost live at the Delta Center February 10th. It's coming up quick. You know, every single time I have to deal with Live Nation, it is a massive headache. I had to email them this morning, ask, hey, where are these Ghost tickets at? They go, oh, well, the Delta Center only works with SeatGeek. So then I had to explain to all of our winners that, you know, you have to make a SeatGeek account and you have to accept them through there, not through Ticketmaster. It's a whole giant confusion. It's a whole giant headache, and it's super, super annoying. Can we please go back to the old-fashioned way? It's Peach's Pit Party right here on K-Bear 101. And earlier this morning, I was chatting with Victor and Jade in the studio. I was mentioning how, you know, Lieutenant Crane's episode of Family Feud is on this afternoon, coming up quick, as a matter of fact, too. I believe it's at 4, if I'm not mistaken. But I might just, catch the rerun of it if it goes on streaming, which I don't know if Family Feud even does. I was trying to look that up last night when I realized, oh yeah, Lieutenant Crane is going to be on Family Feud. You know, they recorded this like back during the summertime of last year, and we were like January of 2026. That's so far ahead, and look where we're at now, January 27th, and the day is here. We tried setting up a whole watch party. I think that just kind of fell through the cracks. So yeah, Lieutenant Crane and his family, their episode of Family Feud set to be on this afternoon or evening. I think it's supposed to be at 4, but I mean, there's so many different ways to watch things now. It is absolutely confusing. I was trying to look up where can you stream Family Feud. It gave me like Philo TV, Pluto TV, Amazon Prime. It gave me a whole, like every single subscription service that you can have. It told me you can find it on there, and I tried looking it up on there, and sure enough, they're not on there. So it's just, can we just get a clear answer? It is so utterly frustrating. And I don't want to spend money on cable. I don't want to spend actually any money on any subscriptions. I feel like if it's on a free TV subscription, like one of those, like what's that thing called? Is it Pluto TV, the one that's free? You can watch pretty much anything on there for free. If it's on there, cool. But if not, maybe I can find clips of it on YouTube. I don't know. I'll have to find out where exactly I can get the episode. And if I can get it, I'll make sure to share how in the K-Bear 101 Idaho Rock and Metal Facebook group, or I'll just talk about it on the air here. Just recently, my girlfriend and I watched all 3 Back to the Future movies. Neither of us have ever seen them all the way through, so we just sat down and had a marathon. Well, not necessarily a full-on marathon of all 3 movies in one night. We watched the movies, like watched the movie on Monday, watched the second movie on Tuesday, and then watched the third movie on Wednesday, type of thing. We finished all 3 of them. They're fantastic. It's a great trilogy. Back to the Future, definitely a classic series, one of the best of all time. The guy who plays Biff Tannen, Tom Wilson, after more than 40 years. More than 40 years after Tom Wilson first betrayed Biff, he reveals now that he's like, hey, I'm no longer going to call you Butthead. I'm also not going to knock you on the head. He said, everyone wants me to push their nephew around. And he's just tired of doing it, and he's done. So, I mean, you can just get a regular picture with Biff. It reminded me of those videos that I've seen online of these grown men going to wrestling conventions, and they'll go up to like a superstar like Kane, for example, and you'll see a grown man ask Kane, hey, can you choke me for the photo? And so Kane is like, yeah, sure. And he's kind of awkwarded out by it, but you'll see him put his hand around the dude's neck, and the other dude's supposed to be like in fear, you know? It would be so awkward to walk up to one of those guys and just ask for that. I mean, really, just get the regular picture. I mean, I feel like Tom Wilson, you know, for 40 years it's been since Back to the Future has come out. I would be sick and tired of getting the same old requests too. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. Anyway, Black Veil Brides, it's certainty on Peach's Pit Party. If there's one thing I hate is when I have to learn like some complex board game or card game. Like I think somebody tried showing me how to play Yu-Gi-Oh back in elementary school, and I sat there with that, monkey in my head, hitting the symbols, the whole thing, right? Well, Magic the Gathering, I feel like, is a whole lot more difficult compared to Yu-Gi-Oh. Well, Hasbro is being sued for printing too many Magic the Gathering cards. A lawsuit alleging that Hasbro misled investors by overprinting these Magic the Gathering cards, subsequently damaging the health of the card game, has been filed by shareholders of the company. Wow. I mean, Magic the Gathering, I would still like to learn at some point, but do I really want to sit down after work, after my brain's been melted from all the stuff here and having to do all this stuff behind the scenes here? Do I really want to go back home and learn a whole card game? I feel like I need to just have a week off and learn how to play Magic the Gathering. It's Hardy right now with Jim Bob on K-Bear 101. Youngblood with the Smashing Pumpkins, Zombie. It's K-Bear 101. I talked about this in particular on the noon hour of Madness and Mayhem, but I also wanted to mention it here just in case you weren't listening earlier today, which also, by the way, you can find the previous episodes of the noon hour of Madness and Mayhem available on demand wherever you get your podcasts. Just wanted to throw that out there. You can find them on Spotify, Apple, even our YouTube, K-Bear 101 RMG. Now, I've been getting this group popping up on my Facebook feed. I think I mentioned on the show about how my dad has been getting these Idaho singles posts popping up just because I think my dad talks about Idaho a lot. You know how our phones are always listening. He keeps getting these Idaho singles posts. And so sometimes he'll jokingly go up to my mom and be like, wait, what do you think of this person? And it's funny. But I'm getting posts from BYU-I students. This one particular BYU-I students Rexburg group. And I'm assuming there's some sort of date night event going on this Friday. Everyone keeps posting in there, hey, I'm so-and-so. I'm looking for a date for date night this Friday. And then they go on to say some facts about themselves, like I'm 22, love reading, doing puzzles, playing board and card games, etc. And everybody in those comments is not taking it seriously. They're saying things like, this one time I sprained my ankle. I didn't know how I would get to class. Samantha offered to give me a piggyback ride uphill both ways. She even fought off 2 lions, 3 bears, and a wild axolotl to get me there on time. Can confirm she's a good person. They've been doing that for every single person who's been making posts like this. I mean, good for them. I'm glad to see the internet coming together for once rather than, just insulting these people for no reason. Now, listen, I know this is not our usual giveaway, but I do want to talk about it just because it helps get you to a concert. I mean, you might as well go to a live show, right? Even though it is in Salt Lake City. Still, you want to go see some live music, and this one is happening April 7th. I'm talking about Devo, live at the Complex in Salt Lake City. I believe they're at the Rockwell. I don't know which room that is. I know that the Complex has the Grand and the Rockwell. I think it's even more confusing because I think the Grand, which you would think would be the bigger room, is the smaller room. I truly do not know. All right. I just know they're going to be at the Complex on Tuesday, April 7th. And if you want to win tickets to go see Devo as part of the Mutate Don't Stagnate tour, you can sign up within the apps right now, the K-Bear app, the Alt app, the Cannonball 101 app. If you want some 80s classics, sign up, fill out those forms once on each app, and boom, you're entered in to win this Friday. I'll be drawing winners and then sending out those tickets to the proper people. All right, let's move on to some Avenged Sevenfold. It's Magic on K-Bear 101. A first date in Englewood, Florida. Is it Englewood or is it Inglewood but spelt with an E? Well, anyway, a first date in either Engle or Inglewood, Florida took a bad turn last week. A guy took his date out for donuts, ended up in jail. Landon Morris was taken into custody after witnesses reported a gray Corvette doing donuts in the parking lot of the Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses. Callers described the car tearing across the lot at a high speed, kicking up thick blue smoke, leaving tire marks behind. At one point, the smoke was so heavy, the Corvette disappeared from view. Nearby residents said the noise sounded like a heavily modified engine echoing through the neighborhood. Now, are women usually impressed by this? I feel like they're not. I feel like when you see one of those D-bags with a lifted truck blasting the black smoke, nobody likes that. Nobody thinks, oh, he's so hot for doing that, right? No, they think, wow, what a jerk. When deputies arrived at the scene, Landon Morris reportedly told them he had driven all the way from Orlando to meet a woman for their first date. According to officials, the passenger admitted she encouraged him to do the donuts to impress her and apologize for, okay, then look, there's the one case where the girl's like, okay, maybe we should, I mean, who knows? The Corvette's nice and all, but I mean, forget it. Never mind. Hopefully she's impressed by guys who go to jail, because that's where Morris ended up charged with racing. Something tells me there's not going to be a second date. That's today's What the Headline right here on K-Bear 101. When is Slipknot going to release something new? When are they going to do anything? Aren't they in the middle of like some sort of lawsuit? Or I think that ended now. I think I saw the headline that whole thing ended, that they were suing the guy who owns Slipknot.com, but then they dropped it. I'm not exactly sure, but I know there's no new music from them in the near future, unfortunately. We are expected to get a new Motionless in White track tomorrow, which is quite cool. I'll be playing that for It's So New. And then a big single from another band that I don't think I can name on the air, but it's been talked about online. It's one of those weird things where, like, Victor didn't name the band, so I'm not going to, because I don't want to be in trouble, that type of thing. I did want to talk about the concert calendar right now. That's always available to you at riverbendmediagroup.com/calendar. You can also find the shortcut to it via the K-Bear 101 app. Click on concert calendar right there on the menu, takes you directly to it. What got announced today, Black Veil Brides. They announced a spring tour, starts April 25th in Riverside, California. They're going to have From Ashes to New, TX2, and As December Falls on board as opening acts. I believe it's April 30th. They're going to be at the Union in Salt Lake City. You can find the correct date and venue on that whole thing as well. This band is bringing their Normal Isn't tour to one of the arenas in Salt Lake City. I can't remember the name of it right now, but it's going to be on Cinco de Mayo. I'm talking about Pussifer. Here's their latest track, Self-Evident. You know, sometimes I like to listen to other radio shows and hear what they have to say, hear what they talk about on the program. And I was listening to our friends at 100.3 The X over in Boise, Big J and Nick, awesome dudes over there, super, super nice guys. They were talking about the Pro Bowl and how stupid and useless the Pro Bowl actually is. And I have to agree with them 100%. I also think All-Star Weekend has run its course. I think All-Star Weekend in all sports, it's not necessarily needed anymore. They don't try. There's no cash prize for the players. They're too busy being worried about getting hurt no matter what the sport is. Why do we need it? NBA All-Star Weekend, I mean, it is kind of fun with the three-point contest, the dunk contest, and like maybe the celebrity game, but you don't really need to have the full-on All-Star game when the score is 208 to 195. It's quite silly. There's really no point, because they don't play defense. They're just showing off their skills. Like, yep, I make millions of dollars, and I'm barely even trying. The whole league is pretty much like that with the NBA now, which is why I kind of stopped watching basketball altogether. I feel like LeBron James deserves an asterisk next to his name just because he's playing in the softest era of basketball we have ever seen. It's borderline WWE entertainment, you know? Wrestling, at least it's painful. Like, it's painful for those wrestlers to put on a show, and it's scripted and all that. But I feel like most sports nowadays, they're entirely scripted. Just like the football playoffs. Like, it feels like to me, it's whatever the league wants. Boom. Then, sure enough, those two teams make it to the Super Bowl. Like the Seahawks and Rams game went down to the wire. Seahawks come out on top. Then you have the Patriots versus Seahawks Super Bowl. I guess that's what the league wanted, right? I don't know. I feel like those conspiracy theories about sports being scripted, I feel like those are somewhat true, especially when it comes to the playoffs and those are the biggest games. The Super Bowl, the biggest moneymaker in sports. Thanks for listening to Peach's Pit Party, the podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please share, subscribe, and rate the podcast. Peach's Pit Party is hosted by me, Peaches, a.k.a. Brendan Peach, and is a production of Riverbend Media Group. For more information or to contact the show, visit riverbendmediagroup.com. Until next time, Peach out.